Most people spend their entire lives trying to collect a dozen different skills, hoping one of them will finally strike gold. They learn a bit of coding, a bit of marketing, perhaps some accounting. They become a jack of all trades, but a master of none, and their bank account reflects that scattered focus. But what if I told you that the ultra-wealthy don't play that game? There is one specific master skill that acts as a skeleton key. Once you possess it, you don't just get a job. You gain the ability to spawn infinite revenue streams from a single source of knowledge. It is the bridge between being a high-paid laborer and becoming a sovereign wealth creator. If you have this, you are never more than 30 days away from a new paycheck. Welcome to the Circle of Wealth Architects. On this channel, we don't deal in get-rich-quick schemes or low-level side hustles. We focus on high-leverage strategy, profit engineering, and the deep psychology of wealth. Our goal is to equip you with the mental frameworks and tactical blueprints that the top 1% use to stay at the top. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building, let's dive into today's masterclass. Let's travel back 10 years. I was sitting in a boardroom with a man who had just sold his third company for 8 figures. I asked him, "What is the one thing you know that I don't?" I expected him to say something about venture capital or software. Instead, he looked at me and said, "Claire, I only know how to do one thing. I know how to distill complex value into persuasive narrative." At first, I was disappointed. It sounded like salesy fluff. But then he showed me his portfolio. He used that one skill, the ability to articulate value, to write a book, stream 1, to consult for CEOs, stream 2, to build a software company by pitching investors, stream 3, and to create a high-ticket mastermind, stream 4. He wasn't a tech guy. He wasn't a real estate mogul. He was a master communicator. The skill I'm talking about today is high-stakes persuasive articulation. Whether you call it copywriting, storytelling, or high-ticket sales, it is the ability to take an idea and make it irresistible to others. This is the only skill that allows you to fractalize your income. Most people think in linear terms. You learn to code, you get a coding job. Linear. The master communicator thinks in fractals. Let's look at a narrative-driven example. I once coached a woman named Alina. She was a nutritionist. For years, she traded her time for $100 an hour at a local clinic. She was exhausted and capped by her own clock. We identified her master skill wasn't just knowing about vitamins, it was her ability to explain health in a way that made busy executives finally care. We took that one skill and fractalized it. The consulting stream. She increased her hourly rate to $500 for high-end corporate clients, active. The digital stream, we turned her unique executive health framework into a $297 automated course, passive. The licensing stream, she packaged her curriculum and sold it to corporate HR departments to use for their employees, leveraged. The advisory stream, she took equity in a health tech startup in exchange for being her voice and messaging strategist, equity. Elena didn't learn 4 different businesses, she leveraged one skill in 4 directions. This is why smart articulation is the ultimate wealth creator. It is the ability to package what you know into different containers. Here is the insight that most advisors will never share. Your expertise is a commodity. Your ability to frame that expertise is the asset. I struggled with this early in my career. I thought that being the best at financial modeling would make me rich. I spent thousands of hours perfecting spreadsheets, but I noticed that the people getting the massive bonuses and the equity stakes weren't the ones doing the math. They were the ones who could present the math to the board and convince them to act. I realized that I was a technician in a communicator's world. When I shifted my focus to the art of persuasion, learning how to write copy that converts, how to speak with authority, and how to frame a deal, my income didn't just go up, it multiplied. I could suddenly apply that skill to anything. I could sell a physical product, a digital service, or a high-level vision. If you are a technician, a designer, a writer, an engineer, a chef, you are currently at the mercy of someone who knows how to articulate your value. When you learn to articulate it yourself, you cut out the middleman and keep 100% of the profit. Why does this specific skill work so well? Because it solves the 3 core problems of business. Attention, you know how to grab a hook. Trust, you know how to build a narrative. And action, you know how to create a close. Let's see how this creates multiple streams in real time. Suppose you master the art of high-value newsletter writing. A stream A, you build your own newsletter and monetize via sponsors, media. A stream B, you act as a ghostwriter for 3 CEOs, charging $3K a month to write their LinkedIn posts, service. A stream C, you create a workshop teaching other writers your system, education. A stream D, you use your writing skills to build a print-on-demand brand with catchy, viral phrases, product. Do you see the pattern? It's not about the what, it's about the how. The skill is the story. The streams are just different ways to tell it. There is a deep psychological shift that happens when you master articulation. You stop seeing yourself as a worker and start seeing yourself as a value architect. Question is, why are most people still stuck with one salary? Because of intellectual arrogance. Many professionals think that learning to sell or learning to write copy is beneath them. They say, my work should speak for itself. Let me be clear. Work never speaks for itself. Work is silent. Work is invisible. Unless you have the skill to shine a light on it and narrate its importance, your work will die in obscurity. I've seen brilliant inventors lose their patents to mediocre businessmen who could just speak better. I've seen better designers lose clients to people with half their talent but twice their persuasive power. The biggest failure of my early 20s was thinking that my hard work would be recognized. It wasn't. It was only when I learned the master skill of communication that I was able to turn my one job into 5 income streams. I had to swallow my pride and realize that being smart isn't enough. You have to be heard. So, how do you acquire this master skill? First, study psychology. You don't need a marketing degree. You need to understand what makes people tick. Read about cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and social proof. Second, practice in public. Start a blog, a Twitter account, or a YouTube channel. The market is the only teacher that doesn't lie. If people aren't clicking, you aren't articulating well enough yet. Third, fractalize your knowledge. Take one thing you know well and try to put it into 3 different formats. A short post, attention, a long-form guide, education, and a direct offer, sales. When I started doing this, I realized that I didn't need to learn a new business every time I wanted more money. I just needed to look at my current knowledge through a different lens. Wealth is about packaging. The person who can package the same information for a student, a CEO, and a stay-at-home parent is the person who will never be broke. You don't need 100 skills. You need one skill that is so powerful it makes everything else easier. High-stakes articulation is that skill. It is the foundation of every empire I have ever seen built. It allows you to create income out of thin air, using nothing but your mind and your ability to connect with others. If you are tired of being a technician and you're ready to become an architect, then you are ready for the next level of your financial life. Hit the subscribe button and join our community. We are here to help you find your master skill and factalize your profit. Comment below, what is your core expertise right now? Let's get creative together. The world doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for how well you can make them understand it. I'll see you in the next video.